to talk about what we mean when we say signature combat.
Thanks, Matt. Now, a lot has changed for us since the first Black Ops game. From our development pipelines to totally new technologies. But some things haven't changed. And after over a decade of making Black Ops games, we're more inspired than ever to keep honing in on that authentic, classic Black Ops feel, all while taking it to new heights. Now we know that to you, combat is more than just pointing and shooting. It's about how your operator moves and weaves through your surroundings. It's feeling the power of your weapon, how it reacts in your hands. It's the sound of bullets storming past you, the rattle and bang of firing your weapon. In Cold War, we're back to plausible, authentic, boots-on-the-ground combat. And that has allowed us to not only refine the feel of the game, but build on all the classic foundations of Black Ops. Heads-up gameplay, automated healing, and grounded movement. Keeping your player experience in the front of our minds has also inspired a fresh wave of thinking across our Creative Class and Score Streak systems, where we're introducing features that bring unprecedented transparency to your planning and cinematic wow moments to when you're playing. Now, innovating systems while still capturing that signature Black Ops super smooth feel is a notoriously tricky thing to get just right, and we put everything we have into it for each game. This is an absolute team effort, so I brought some of my friends from the combat team to help tell you about our initiatives for this game and how they've resulted in signature combat that feels just right. Here's Max Porter to start us off.
We've taken lessons learned from across Black Ops and the entire Call of Duty franchise to land on a truly best-in-class weapon experience. The gun is almost always right in front of you and must look great. From a gun's seams down to its grime, the level of detail in Black Ops Cold War has never been higher. But our weapons also need to move in a realistic manner. You'll feel it in this game, whether you're clocking from long range or firing from the hip. When we think about a gun, we think about the way it looks, the way it's going to move, but a big part of a gun's personality is the sound that it makes. It's like the bark of a dog. We're sort of imagining all these guns as characters. That just adds to that level of realism and that sort of immersive quality that is unique to Call of Duty. It's this multifaceted approach to how weapons look, animate, and sound that together defines the feel of Cold War's signature gunfighting experience. Here's Alvin with a debrief on some of the other combat systems waiting for you in Cold War.
Let's talk about two of the most significant and impactful features of multiplayer: Create a Class and Score Streaks. Our goal with Create a Class in Cold War is to empower you without making trade-offs. This year, better starts with simpler. Create a Class will be a slot-based system. No longer governed by allocations or the Pick 10 system, you'll always boast a full class of a primary, secondary, lethal, tactical, field upgrade, and a set of perks. Field upgrades are items placed in the world to give your team an advantage. You can earn them solely based on time, not score, and they are the only type of game content that works on a cooldown that lasts after death. Now, wild cards are back. In this system, in every class, you can pick one of 4 wildcards that let you do things like load your primary weapon with up to 8 attachments, carry up to 6 perks, double the number of lethals and tacticals you have, or carry 3 primary perks from any mix of categories. Of course, a key component of Create a Class is the gunsmith. In Black Ops Cold War, there are more optics and attachments to unlock and configure than ever before. Every primary weapon can be customized with 54 attachments across 8 different nodes or attachment points, with at least 6 options per attach point. By default, you can equip 5 attachments, or 8 with the Gunfighter wildcard. For the first time, Gunsmith will show you what equipping an attachment does as a positive or negative percentage. You can now build backwards, speccing out the perfect gun for results you want to see in the field. This takes the guesswork out of the system and helps us on our never-ending quest to make the most balanced Call of Duty game you've ever played. There's one more thing I need to talk about. First up, we've updated Score Streak so that earned score is kept through death. This change gives all players a chance to engage with Score Streaks, one of the most visceral and fun experiences across multiplayer's signature combat. If you do go on a streak and string together multiple kills before your own death, streak score bonuses help you earn into those higher-powered Score Streak tiers. To prevent score streak spam, each score streak will go on a cooldown after it's used to pace out frequency. So, what score streaks are we talking about? Well, your favorites are back, but we've also got a few surprises. Score streaks in Cold War can be used in all the classic ways: to aid in taking an objective, to save your team, to break up the pace of the game with a fun new experience. We've also tailored strategy into the system, as score streaks can often be neutralized with a counter score streak. And now I'll pass it over to Sunny to share more about our operators and how they move in Black Ops Cold War.
Elites, covert, powerful. When you play as a Cold War operator, you won't just step into the boots of a highly trained precision instrument. Every movement will have a purpose. To increase the fidelity and feel of even the smallest elements, modelers, animators, and concept artists all work side by side, planning for every point of contact with every gun, every stance and position, every scenario. Thanks to increased dynamic bone counts, we've been able to enhance the effects of physics and gravity on what you carry, from the weight of your gear, like pouches and grenades, to the way a wallet chain or rope sways as you sprint. Your entire operator will move more naturally than ever. Here's 4 specific ways movement has improved through new cutting-edge techniques in animation and programmatic movement. The first is sprint takeoff. This is the feature that gives your operator a running start. You start with a little sprint and then it slows down to normal speed. This lets you feel the momentum of where you're going and where you're going to end up. We wanted to preserve the fluidity and fun of an operator's ability to slide. In Black Ops Cold War, when you slide, you start and end in a crouch position in a believable way. This allows 2-player movement states to function better as one, all while improving gameplay and enhancing pace. Footstep control also plays a big part of the new movement system. Go faster and you'll make more noise. Of course, we still have Ninja as a perk, but Ninja is no longer the only way to keep quiet. Whether or not you're crouched, how loud you get is now directly tied to how fast you're moving. Lastly, we've incorporated a classic jump with a much more natural height, which will very briefly slow you down on landing. Our goal in all of these movement mechanics is to ensure operators' actions are not just authentic, but intuitive. When you press a button or a key, you should always feel in control of your operator, and this system has been built to translate your decisions into dynamic movement more seamlessly than ever. The era of the game might be the 80s, but the characters you play will move and shoot like the world's most highly skilled operators.
Signature combat. It isn't just how a gun is shot, it's how that gun feels, how it sounds, how it's designed to create a combat experience. And combat isn't just about conflict, it's also movement. So the fluid ways in which your operators shift around the AO and carry the gear you outfit them in is just as important as the choices you give them. Choices like the overhauled Create Class system, or all those attachment possibilities in Gunsmith, or the new ways you can earn and deploy score streaks in the thick of battle. These combat initiatives work together to deliver the most intuitive, plausible, authentic, boots-on-the-ground experience possible, and they're at the heart of Black Ops Cold War. Now on that note, I'd like to introduce Miles.
We've talked a little bit about where you'll play, but let's talk about what you'll play when you get there. In Black Ops Cold War, our classic game modes are returning and they're better than ever. From the tried and true Team Deathmatch, Domination, and Search and Destroy, to the return of the competitive game mode Control, we've taken a fresh eye to all of your favorites. We're encouraging more meaningful gameplay with larger capture zones in Domination. We're updating spawn systems in Hardpoint. And now we show you where the next Hardpoint will spawn so you can regroup, rotate, and set up for the next fight. Across all of our classic modes, we're working hard to make this the most rewarding and competitive multiplayer experience yet. And while your go-to modes are coming back better than ever, let's talk about the innovative new modes you'll be going to next. With that, let me introduce you to my teammate Marquise Gladney, who's here to tell you about the brand new multiplayer experience we call VIP Escort.
VIP Escort began with a question. How can we create a game mode inspired by the kind of real-life, totally true, but completely redacted Black Ops that first inspired this franchise? The result is Extraction in its purest form, a new 6-on-6 objective-based game mode we call VIP Escort. In Black Ops, we normally task you with fighting, but VIP Escort turns that on its head with a new mechanic. If you're selected as the VIP, your #1 job, it's to live. In this team-based op, your team will try to escort you off the map or eliminate the other team trying to stop you. As VIP, you'll skip Create a Class, you're too important after all. Instead, you'll deploy with the kitted out pistol, a smoke grenade, a spy plane for team intel, and a whole lot of hope that your team knows what the hell it's doing. The mission? Stay alive and escape the map. To do so, you'll need to reach one of 2 possible exfil sites, which rotate over the course of the match to keep teams on their toes. There are stakes here. If you die, that ends the round. But team up and you can get your squad back on their feet quickly via last stand and revive. Each team's choices and tactics create layers of strategy and counterplay, injecting the best of Black Ops themes directly into this competition. Will your team pull Cold War mind games and misdirection by splitting up the squad to draw fire and create distractions for the VIP? Or is a full-on assault more their style? Will they travel ahead and scout, run protection detail, or take a bullet for you Secret Service style? My personal keys to victory? I stick close and escort the VIP and defend them at all costs. If the VIP doesn't make it out alive, it won't matter if you do. This new deniable operation only scratches the surface of what it means to play Cold War multiplayer.
Up next, we want to share another new way to play that goes above and beyond that classic 6v6 experience you've come to expect. Combined Arms is where multiplayer gets bigger and badder, bringing together the best of multiplayer's large-scale battles by combining infantry and vehicular gameplay into a single cohesive combat experience. In Combined Arms Domination, players will deploy into 12 versus 12 battles, each customized and unique to its own environment. But these battles aren't just bigger or more chaotic. We've worked hard to ensure the 2 levels of boots on the ground and all-out vehicular warfare complement and enhance one another on each map. Tanks, snowmobiles, wake runners, gunboats, and more. These vehicles amplify the action, sure, but they also create jaw-dropping moments right in the middle of the fight. The way I personally play Combined Arms depends on my mood. If I'm going for the win, it's rally time, and I'm pushing to capture every objective on the map. Whether that means loading up a gunboat on Armada or popping smokes so my team can cross the frozen lake in Crossroads, I'm putting my try-hard pants on and making it happen. And that's the thing, in Combined Arms, almost anything can happen. I'll seek out fun moments that aren't possible in other modes, like ziplining onto the enemy's ship and seeing how long I can last before getting taken out. At launch, you can expect even more Combined Arms maps and modes, each tailored and tuned to bring the most fun, frenetic action this format can deliver. Take Armada, our most unique map to date. You saw earlier that the only life preservers on this sea-based map are your tactics, as each capture zone requires a different approach. Will you attack surgically with a 2-seater wake runner, gather your squad and storm the main ship? From zip lines that traverse the map to all new naval tactics, Armada is Combined Arms Domination realized, bringing high stakes, high-speed combat to the high seas. On Crossroads, you'll trade your wetsuit for a snowsuit, fighting for control of Soviet bunkers across the frozen tundra. With high-powered tanks patrolling the frozen lake and surrounding roads, you'll need to choose how to take on those slow movers. So whether you're hopping onto a snowmobile for a quick flank or rolling up your sleeves and sticking on some C4, the story is yours to write in Combined Arms Domination. That's it for Deniable Operations for now. We've ziplined, crossed frozen lakes, and dipped into Miami's beaches. That's really just the start of the full Deniable Ops experience. Add up the work on your favorite classic game modes to the arrival of new modes like VIP Escort and Combined Arms Domination, and it all stacks up to our most ambitious multiplayer yet. One you can play any way you want and in new ways you never expected. If you're a Call of Duty League fan, we have a bunch of new stuff lined up just for you. Stay tuned. This may be a multiplayer game built for everyone, but these will be your Deniable Operations.